Welcome to episode 4 of Things We Hate in FC26 Career Mode. While there's a lot of good features in Career Mode this year, it's not perfect and there's a few things we hate. Today I'm continuing on with the series. We've still got a few more things to talk about. If there's anything that you hate in Career Mode, make sure you leave a comment because there might be more episodes in the future. Don't forget to leave a like and make sure you are subscribed. We're so close to 300,000 subscribers, 1,772 to go. Tell your friends to subscribe to the channel as well. One thing we all hate in Career Mode is that when new faces get added through a squad update or title update, they don't get applied to existing Career Mode saves. As you all know, very recently there was a title update or squad update that brought in over 150 new faces into the game. It was a massive update, but if you played your existing Career Modes that were started before the update came out, you would have noticed that these players had their old faces still in your Career Mode save. I don't know why that is. Take a look at these players here. These players all have new faces now through the new update, but if you play an existing save, which was started before the update, they still have their old generic faces, and that's not good. I remember with PES games, whenever there was a new update, the Master Leagues, even if they were older saves, would have the new updated faces. In EA's football games, it doesn't work like that for some reason. I guess you just have to start new Career Modes every time EA does face updates. It's very annoying for Career Mode players because a lot of Career Mode players like to have all the latest new faces in the game when they play. And it just feels like it's never the right time to start a save, because if you began one like a day before the new update, you would miss out on all the new faces. But let's say you start a new save to get these new faces in your Career Mode. You might have to start another one in November because there might be a November update with more new faces added. It's a little bit annoying. I don't know why it happens, but in EA's games, whenever there's face updates, they don't get applied to existing Career Mode saves. And that's one thing that we've hated for many, many years now. Another thing we hate in Career Mode is there's no trophy cabinet. A trophy cabinet is so important because if you're like me, you win a lot of trophies in Career Mode, but there's nowhere to actually view all the trophies you've won in Career Mode. Imagine if you've won multiple Champions Leagues, you would be able to see them on a shelf and it would tell you the years that you've won each trophy. I've just won the Super Cup with PSG, but when I go to the menus of Career Mode, there's no way to actually view this trophy in some sort of trophy cabinet or room. You would think in Career Mode they would have this feature by now, The whole point of being a manager is to win titles, but there's nowhere to view these titles that you've won besides going to the My Career and just reading your summary. I don't really like this, and I think a lot of people out there don't like this. We need some sort of trophy cabinet in the game. It would be nice to view the Premier League trophies you've won, the La Liga trophies, maybe have the year, all that kind of stuff. It sounds simple. I'm surprised we don't even have it in the game at the moment. Another thing I don't really like in Career Mode is that you cannot renew contracts now whenever you want to. You have to wait for the players to come to you. So we have a couple players here with 8 months left on their contract. I would like to renew them now, but I cannot. I click on contract negotiation and it says the player is not looking to engage in contract negotiations for the time being. In previous Career Modes, you could just click on contract negotiation and do it whenever you wanted to. They changed it this year for some reason. I don't know if it needed to be changed, although I do see some people say that they like the change because it's more realistic. I don't know, I'm not really a fan of it at the moment. It also sucks now because let's say you wanted to extend the contracts of your best players that have more than a year remaining. You can't do that now, so you have to wait for them to come to you. And also the problem with this system of waiting for the players to come to you is that it's pretty easy to miss the player conversations. So if you miss the message, then it could be bad luck. You won't be able to renew the player's contract. You'll probably see players leaving your club and you won't know why. There is a setting here that you can customize. So when players do send you messages, you can stop the sim. But if you have it on bypass, you will miss those messages. And it's also possible that you might just forget to negotiate the contract later. Sometimes you remember to do something in the moment, and when you can't do that thing you remember in the moment, you can forget to do it later. Let me know what you think. Do you like this change or do you not? I preferred the way it was in FC25 where you could just go into the squad hub, go to the contract section and just renew contracts whenever you wanted to. You didn't have to wait for the player to come to you. You wouldn't forget to do it later. You could also extend existing player contracts whenever you wanted to, so you could add years to your existing player contracts. I think it was more convenient in FC25. Let's go over some of the community's comments. So the first one is from Chris. They listed 7 things that they hate in Career Mode, but I want to focus on number 6, and that was managers don't have a voice. This is not something I personally hate, but it could definitely be improved. They could give managers voices, and they could also give the people that ask you questions in the press situations voices as well. I think one day they'll use AI to create voices for managers. Imagine doing a press conference and you're able to hear a voice when the press asks you questions, and you would also hear a voice when your manager replies to the question. Imagine going into negotiations and being able to hear voices. I understand if they can't replicate real manager voice, voices, but if they could create some generic voices that we could use with our created managers, that would be cool. One day there could be options where you could select an AI voice and you'll hear that voice throughout your save when the manager needs to talk in a press situation or a negotiation situation. This is something that doesn't really bother me because I quickly go through the press questions or I quickly go through the transfer negotiations because I already know basically what the conversations are about. You just have to read the text. But I guess some people would love to hear voices in these situations. Next up, we have a comment from Dark Horror who says, create a player is restricted to the year 2005, meaning a player is 20 in their first season. So annoying if you want to create youth players. So what they're referring to is this. If you go to the main menu and you go to create player, you can create players that can be thrown into career mode. I think you just need to select use current squads when you start your save. But let's check this out here. So we've got a created player. The range is from 1980 all the way up to 2005. So that means that the player will be 20 years old in their first season in career mode. It's unusual that create a player is restricted to 2005 because when I go into create a club and I edit my players in my team, I can go past 2005. I can choose 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009 for these players. But you can't do that in the create a player section. Even if you go to create a new player in player career mode, some of these origin stories start at 17 years old, 18 years old. Even the clean slate starts at 18. And if you choose custom, you can choose a birth year such as 2006, 2007, 2008. So once again, I'm not sure why the create a player section is restricted to 2005, but in other parts of the game like career mode, you can go up to like 2008 or 2009. The next comment comes from Gyra who says, same kits. I'm guessing that they're referring to the kits in Creator Club. Same manager clothes, so they would like to see more options with the manager clothing. No better stadium design options. I think we spoke about stadium creator and upgrades in an earlier episode. EA flags / banners in my created club stadium instead of my club's logo. And no quick save button. I thought it was just me that missed the quick save button. Even though there's no save button in the menu, you can now add it as a shortcut. So if you hold L2 down, it brings up the menu and you can click on add shortcuts and go all the way to the bottom until you find the save one. Click on that and then press the advanced button to save it. And now at least you do have a shortcut that takes you to the save section. So it's not too bad now in FC26 because you can edit your shortcuts. But in FC25, it was pretty bad because you couldn't edit the shortcuts, so there was no quick way to get to the save menu. See Me Plays says, unrealistic manager objectives, winning the league or getting to the Champions League semi-final with a team that won't do that. Manager objectives have always been controversial. I remember in older games, there used to be some that just were so unrealistic. I used to never pay attention to them, and in FC25, I just put on the no sacking feature, so I didn't even have to worry about those board objectives. This year they've simplified the board expectations. They've gotten rid of a lot of different objectives, so now it's not too bad, but I guess there's probably still some unrealistic objectives in the game. Thank you to my channel members, Chris, Callum, Wing, and Hugo. If you want your name featured here, check out the link in the description. Make sure you leave a like for me and subscribe as well.